So I spent much of the day preparing fabric for a quilt sample that I needed to do. I took a bunch of green fabrics, they were all yellow greens, and cut 6-inch strips off, and then from that cut some 6-inch squares that I'm going to be using for this quilt sample. They did not have to be super precise 6-inch squares. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I thought, since I was using so many different fabrics, this was a fabulous opportunity to organize my fabric a little bit better. So you can see, after I cut a strip off of a piece of fabric, that I then am refolding that fabric using that bright green, it's a piece of plastic, so that all of the fabric is folded to the same width and height. And I just brought over a huge stack of not so neatly folded fabric. It was all folded, it just wasn't necessarily folded in the same sizes, which meant that it didn't fit so greatly in the little cubby that I have for yellow-green fabrics. So this was fabulous. I thought, what the perfect opportunity. And some fabrics had been pre-washed and they were folded differently than the other fabrics. I'm not going to get into the pre-wash or not pre-wash argument at this particular moment in time, but I just thought you might enjoy seeing a little bit of the cutting action, and it went well, I think. In a moment here, I will show you the entire stack, all neatly folded. Some of you eagle-eye viewers may realize that I am ambidextrous when it comes to cutting. I do not have to turn the fabric around. I can use either hand with the rotary cutter, which does make my life amazingly easier in that way. So you can kind of see a little bit of the stack happening behind, well, you could, there you go, happening behind me there, but I will show it to you momentarily. Some of these I had quite a bit of yardage, and some of them not so much. That one had quite a bit of yardage. There we go. There's the entire stack, all neatly stacked together. And here you can see that neatly folded yellow-green stack in place in its cubby next to the unorganized stacks. The first step is to start with a bunch of 6-inch squares. You can really use any size. The larger the square, then the larger the finished square will be. You do not have to have precise measurements. I have stacked them into stacks of 8. So this is going to be based on a rail fence, which is sometimes 3, sometimes 4 strips of fabric that are sewn together. Typically, it's the same 4 fabrics. There's 4 different ones in a block, but then that same block is repeated over and over. This is going to be much more random and fun. And also, you don't have to cut straight lines, but we are going to cut twice on our stack. So I have my stack, I pressed all these together, and I am just going to randomly make a slice on a slight angle, and then I'm going to come over here and make another slice, approximating a 1/3-ish across. All right, there we have it. So I'm going to take the first fabric and I'm going to move that to the bottom of the stack. Then I'm going to take 2 fabrics and move those to the bottom of the stack. And now I have 8 blocks to sew together. That was a sneak peek of an upcoming tutorial on making that random rail fence quilt. It may take me a couple of weeks to get the full tutorial uploaded to this channel, but you can be amongst the first to know if you subscribe and hit the notifications button. Happy crafting, and I hope to see you all very soon.